Hi everyone, it is Tammy with Happy Rock Crafts. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for watching my video. I appreciate it. And if you like it, make sure to hit that like button and that subscribe. Anyways, I'm going to be showing how to do the Jasmine Stitch, which is an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous stitch. It is a yarn eater. It is absolutely worth it though. And you could make blankets with it, pillows, scarves, bags, anything that your imagination can think of, you can do. I will leave a description of what material I am using in the description box below for this tutorial, because I love this Scrub It yarn. It's Yarn Bee Scrubology Scrub It yarn in lemon from Hobby Lobby. It's nice and thick, and it's easier for my viewers to see the stitches when I use this yarn, so that is why I choose to use this yarn. It's also great for making scrubbies, which I have some videos listed below that show you how to make scrubbies with this. So if you ever get a chance, definitely give out this yarn a try. Anyways, so I'm gonna begin. I'm using an eye crochet hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter. It does not really matter, it's just what I'm using for the tutorial. This is a luxury hook, and that is from Hobby Lobby. And to begin, you want to start with a slip knot. So however you choose to do your slip knot, for me, this is how I do my slip knot. This is my working yarn, and this is my tail. I just hold them together like this, and then I insert my 2 fingers at the top and I twist, and then I grab that working yarn from the skein and pull it through, and that's my slip knot. But you can choose to do your slip knot however you prefer to do. So now to do the Jasmine stitch, we need to start with a foundation puff stitch chain. So to do that, we are going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. And now what we're going to do is work a puff stitch into that second chain from our hook. So remember, the loop on your hook does not count as a stitch or a chain. This is your first chain and this is your second chain. So we're going to be working our puff stitch into this second chain. So we're going to yarn over our hook. We're going to insert our hook into that second chain from hook. We're going to yarn over, bring that yarn through the chain and up. You now have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, insert your hook into that same chain, yarn over, bring it through and up. You now have 5 loops on your hook. And now we're going to yarn. We want to yarn over and go through those 5 loops, but we also want to be able to hold that working yarn, because we're going to be working a single crochet into it after we pull through the loops. So you want to hold the end of your working yarn and then yarn over and pull that yarn through those loops. And now you're going to take your hook and insert it underneath that loop of the working yarn that you were holding, and you're going to yarn over and bring that yarn through the loop. That leaves you with 2 loops. You're going to yarn over and go through those 2 loops, and that's a single crochet. And we're going to do that again. So that's our 1 puff stitch that we have so far. So now to do the next one, we're going to be working right here in the space underneath the single crochet bar that we did, or to the right of our single crochet that we just did. So we're just going to pull up our loop a little bit on our hook for the height for the puff stitch. We're going to yarn over, we're going to insert our hook into that space, we're going to yarn over again, bring it through that space and up. We have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again, insert our hook into the same space, yarn over again, bring it through and up. You now have 5 loops on your hook. You're going to hold the base of that working yarn, and you're going to yarn over and bring that yarn through those loops. And now you're going to take your hook, insert it underneath that working yarn that you were holding, and you're going to work a single crochet. And that's 2 puffs. So for this tutorial, I'm going to make 5 puffs for the foundation puff chain. You're going to want to make sure to do as many as you want for the width of your project. For this tutorial, I'm just going to do 5. So we're going to make another one. So I'm just going to pull up the loop on my hook. yarn over, inserting my hook into that space, yarning over, bringing it through and up, and again. I now have 5 loops on my hook. I'm going to hold my working yarn, I'm going to yarn over, bring that yarn through those loops, take that hook, insert it underneath that working yarn I was holding, and work my single crochet. And we're going to do that again. I'm going to pull up that loop, I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that space, yarn over, bring it through and up, yarn over into the same space, yarn over, bring it through and up. 5 loops are on my hook. I'm going to hold that working yarn, yarn over, and go through those loops. I'm going to take that hook and go underneath that working yarn loop that I was holding and work my single crochet. And that is 4. So I'm going to do one more. Pulling up my loop a little, yarning over, inserting my hook into that space, yarning over, bringing it through and up. I have 3 loops, yarn over, inserting my hook again into that space, yarning over, bringing it through and up. I now have 5 loops on my hook. I'm going to hold the base of that working yarn, and I'm going to yarn over and go through those loops on my hook. And now I'm going to take that hook and insert it underneath my working yarn and create that single crochet. And that is my 5 puff stitches that I wanted to start with. So it should look like that. So you would just continue working the puff stitch to the width that you would want for your project. So now, to start our next row, we have to do a turning puff stitch. So to do a turning puff stitch, we're just going to take our work, we're going to turn our work like so. We're going to pull up that loop a little bit to help with the height for the puff stitch. And we're going to be working right here in the space where our single crochet was that we did. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that space, yarn over, bring it through and up. We have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that same space, yarn over, bring it through and up. We now have 5 loops on our hook. We're going to hold the base of our working yarn, yarn over, and pull through all those loops. Now we're going to take our crochet hook, insert it underneath the loop of the working yarn that we were holding, and we're going to work a single crochet. And that is our turning puff stitch. So now to work the Jasmine stitch, which is really cool and beautiful, it is a combination of 3 puff stitches worked and then closed up together. So we're going to work our first puff stitch into this here space that the single crochet created that we just did. So we're going to pull up that loop a little bit, and then we're going to yarn over, inserting our hook into that space. We're going to yarn over, bring that yarn through and up. We have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again, inserting our hook into that same space, yarn over, bring it through and up. We now have 5 loops on our hook. Now we want to go to the next stitch, which is going to be right below, which is where we had just created that turning stitch. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that space, yarn over, bring it through and up. We now have 7 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and go into that same space, yarn over, bring it through and up. We now have 9 loops on our hook. And now we're going to go into the next new stitch right here, and we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that space, yarn over, bring it through and up. We now have 11 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, go into that same space, yarn over, bring it through and up, and now we have 13 loops on our hook. So if you look, you'll see it can be separated like this, and you'll see your 3 puff stitches, our 5 loops, our 4, and our 4. So now what we have to do is we have to hold that working yarn again, and we're going to yarn over, and we want to go through all those loops. And it may be difficult for some of you, and if that's the case, to go underneath all those loops, you can just do a few at a time, like a grouping at a time. So let's do like the 4 loops, and the 5 together. So yarning over, and make sure to hold that working yarn. Just go ahead and go underneath 4 loops and pull your hook up, and then go underneath the next 4 loops and pull your hook up, and then go underneath the last 5 loops. Whoops. Or however many. There we go. And then insert your hook underneath that working yarn that you were holding and work your single crochet. So if it's easier, you can just go through a few loops at a time. If it's not a problem for you, then just go ahead and go through all of those loops. So that's our first little jasmine, the 3 little petals there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that again. So we're going to be working in this space right here, and we're going to work right here in the stitch that we just created, and then we're going to work in the next new stitch that we hadn't worked into for our next one. So we're going to pull up our loop a little bit for height, yarn over, inserting our hook into that space, yarn over, bring it through and up. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, yarn over, bring it through and up. You now have 5 loops. Now we're going to go into the next stitch right below, yarn over, inserting our hook, yarning over, bringing it through and up. You have 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, yarn over, bring it through and up. You now have 9 loops on your hook. Now we're going to insert our hook after yarning over into the next new stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, bring it through and up. We now have 11 loops on our hook, yarn over, inserting our hook into the same stitch, yarn over, bring it through and up. We now have 13 loops on our hook. And now we want to hold the base of that working yarn, yarn over, and then grab that yarn and pull it through all those loops on your hook like so. And then take that hook and go underneath that working yarn you were holding and create your single crochet. And there's our second. And we're going to do that all the way to the end. So again, we're going to pull up our yarn a little, our loop on our hook, yarn over, inserting it into that first space, yarning over, bringing it up, yarn over, going into that same space, yarn over, bringing it up. So you'll notice we're doing 2 yarn overs into each of those 3 spaces that we work. And we'll always have 13 loops on our hook at the end. So I'm going to yarn over, inserting my hook into the next stitch, yarn over again. Now we're going to go into the next new stitch. So yarn over, inserting my hook, yarning over, bringing it through and up, and again, yarn over, inserting that hook, yarning over, bringing it through and up. I have my 13 loops. I'm going to hold the base of that working yarn. I'm going to yarn over and go through all those loops on my hook. And remember, you can definitely go through a few at a time if it's easier for you. And of course, it may be awkward until you get comfortable working the stitch. And now we want to make sure, insert our hook underneath that working yarn we were holding and work our single crochet. It is so beautiful. Okay, so let's do that again. So this is 2 times in that stitch, 2 times in this one, 1 and 2, and then 2 times in this one, 1 and 2. I'm going to hold the base. I'm going to grab that working yarn and pull it through those loops like so. Take my hook and go underneath that working yarn I was holding and work my single crochet like so. And again, so we're going to pull up my loop a little, yarn over, inserting it into the next space, yarn over, bring it through, yarn over, going into that same space, yarn over, bring it through and up, going into the next stitch, yarn over, inserting my hook, yarning over, bringing it through and up, yarn over into the same stitch. I have 9 loops on my hook, and now our last one, we're going to be working into that first chain. So yarn over, inserting our hook, yarning over, bringing it through and up, yarn over, going into that same chain, yarning over, bringing it through and up, and now we have our 13 loops. And remember, we need to hold that working yarn, yarn over, and go through those loops on our hook. And then take our hook and go underneath that loop that we were holding and work our single crochet. And that is our row. So you're just going to repeat this until you get your desired height. So now we have to work that turning puff stitch. So let's do that together again. So turn your work, and we're going to be working right here into the space that the single crochet made. So we're going to pull up our loop a little to give us height. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that space, yarn over, bring it through and up. You have 3 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, yarn over, bring it through and up. You have 5 loops. Hold that working yarn and yarn over and go through those loops, and then work that single crochet underneath that loop that you were just holding, and that is your turning puff stitch. And now to continue working the rows, you would just do the same thing. So you're going to pull up your puff stitch underneath this single crochet here space, then this stitch, and then this new stitch. So let's do the first one together. Pull up your loop a little, yarn over, insert your hook into that space, yarn over, bring it through and up, yarn over into that space, yarn over, through and up. 5 loops are on your hook. Our next stitch right here, yarn over, insert your hook into that space, yarn over, through and up, and again. And there we go. And then into our next new stitch, yarning over, there we go. We have 13 loops on our hook. Make sure to hold the base of your working yarn, yarn over, and go through all those loops on your hook, and then take that hook and insert it underneath the loop you were holding and work your single crochet, and just continue doing that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was nice and clear for you. If not, let me know what you need more clarification on, and I will be happy to do that. And don't forget, if you liked it, to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate any support that I can get. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.